Hi, hope you all having a good day. So whether if you are building a cool new social media or a B2B SaaS, having a real-time communication is one of the must-have features these days. By real-time communication, I mean like chats, video calls, audio calls, meetings, conference, and all those stuff. But building all these features from the ground up and making sure everything is smooth takes like months of efforts. So in this video, I will show you how you can implement a video call feature within minutes and not days with NextJS and ZegoCloud. Alright, next you will see me from my screen. So before we get started, I'll give you a quick demo of the app we are building. So on the home page, you have options to create a new meeting. If you click on it, it will create a new room for you with a unique ID. Here I have my name and you have options to mute or turn off your camera. I'll just turn off the microphone so it doesn't echo. And to invite others, you can either copy this link or you can just copy this ID. So we'll try both. Let's see this first. Join. So you can say I'm in the call. Here I have all the features that I would expect from a video conference app. The audio, camera, screen share option as well. So it's pretty cool. Now I'll open a new screen. Go to localhost. Here I will paste the ID. Join meeting. And it will take me to the same room. Let's name this Arif 2. Join. I'll mute this. So you can see I'm in the video conference app with one is Arif Hussain, me, another is Arif 2. We can say hi to each other and stuff. So the primary tool we'll be using to build our app is called ZegoCloud. They make it super easy to add real-time communication features in your app. So if you check out their website, they support video calls, voice call, live streaming, chat, like all the communication features you can think of. I love that it comes with all these cool UI components that you might need to build cool apps. And it takes like literally minutes to implement all these powerful features, as I will show you in the video. But if you also want the compile, control, and customization, they also have SDKs that you can check out. Now it is a paid service. If you check out the pricing, per 1000 participant minutes, you will be charged $399 per month, which is cheaper than many other alternatives. And if you decide to build your apps on top of ZegoCloud, you'll have your first 10,000 minutes for free. So make sure to check them out. Link will be in the description. Alright, so let's create a new Next.js project. So let's visit the docs. Get started. Installation. We just copy this. Create. Now it will ask us a bunch of options like the project name. Let's name this logs meeting. We need TypeScript. We don't need ESLint. We'll be using Tailwind. So strictly fine. App router, yes. No. And I think that's all. And it will take some time to install all this. You also need to install Shatzian UI. So we'll do that. Get started. Installation. Using Next.js. Copy this. Alright, our project is created. So let's go to logs meeting. Install Shatzian. We'll use the default. Zinc. Yes. Alright, so we'll be only using these two dependencies so far. We'll install the ZegoCloud later. Let's open it in our VS Code. So code dot. So you have a typical Next.js project here with source and app routes. let's run this. Running on localhost 3000. Nice. So we don't need all this, so we can just go to page and remove all this stuff. And let's just say start our project. All right, so to make this project work, we only need two major things. One, to let users create meetings, and then let user to join meeting. So to create meetings, we'll have a button where users can just press and create a meeting, and for joining, we'll have an input field where users can put the joining code. So let's install the Shatsian button here. This looks fine. Copy. We'll open this in another tab. We also need to add input fields, so let's do that as well. Copy. So what you're gonna do is, let's remove all this and have a button that will say create new meeting. We'll import this, and it will say or let's input. Let's have an input. With a placeholder that says enter meeting code. And we'll wrap this in a form. We'll also have a button that says join now. Join meeting. Yeah, so we have our button and also have the input. Let's make it pretty. This will be wrapped in a flexbox. We'll have a space in between. 4 is fine. Alright, so this is what it looks so far. To make it look pretty, we can use this Shatsian card component. So let's copy this, install, and we'll wrap the whole thing in our card component. Copy this. Also, let's wrap this or in a p tag. Let's give the card some style. We'll have a margin top of 8 and then give a max width of 80, 96, and we also want it to be on center, so we'll say mx auto, and we'll give this some padding of 4. Yeah, you can see it already looks better, but I think we need some space in between, so let's say space y of 6 and make this a gray color, so text gray 500. Let's have this space of 4. Yeah, I think it looks better. Okay, so let's remove the space to 4 and margin top to 12. Alright, so now that it looks kind of decent, let's work on the functionality. So what will happen is when users click on create new meeting, we'll route this to a new link with a unique room ID. To generate unique IDs, we'll use the UUID package, but you can use any of your choice. So we'll just install this, paste, and you can see how it works from the docs. We can use the version 4 from the UUID package and then just call it. So let's implement this in our code base. We'll wrap the button with the link. And on the href, it will be /room/UUID. Let's import this. Import v4 as UUID from UUID. Save. Alright, so it doesn't have the type definition, so let's install that as well. And now it should be fixed. Let's remove this. So now when you click on this button, it takes us to the room. We did something wrong. It's a function, so we have to call this. Now it should be fine. Yes, so you can see it takes us to the new room. Now the problem is we don't have a component to handle this page, so let's create a new one. We'll have a room, and inside rooms we'll have another folder for ID and a page.tsx. Let's create a React function, save, and now the page is working. Let's try to get this ID and show it on the UI. And we can easily access that from our page parameters. So we'll just write params, and for the types, it will have an ID, and ID will be a string. So here we'll say ID params.id. Now you see we have an ID. Now in this page we'll implement ZegoCloud that will handle all our video call features. Now for that, let's search for ZegoCloud docs, and here they have detailed docs for all major use case. You can explore the SDKs, but we will use the UI kits to make our life easier because it comes with a lot of pre-built UIs. We'll use the video conference kit. Let's switch to web. We'll use their npm package. Nice. So let's use the SDK, copy. After that, the first thing we need is the kit tokens. Let's go to our dashboard. Let's create a new project. Now, based on the app you are building, you can select which one you need. we need the voice and video call feature. So let's select that. Next, give app name. Our project name is logs meeting. We'll be using the UI kits. So let's start. Now it will take some time to create the project. Alright, so once you have a project ready, you have options to choose from web, Android, iOS, Flutter, or React Native. Since we're using web, we'll select on this. Everything is fine. Save. Now it will show you a demo. We don't need this. We'll just go to config file. This is the part we need, the app ID and the secret. Now this part is meant to be secret. That's why I'm hiding this, and you should too. So we'll put both of this in our environment variable because we'll need this to integrate. So in our app, let's create a env. We will have a Zego app ID, and we'll have a Zego app secret. I will close this. Now here they give an example of how to implement this. So you can see we need to create a key token that will come from our package. So in our code base, let's create a util file, source utils, and inside this we'll have a zego.ts file. Let's create a function called generate kit token. We'll take room ID as a parameter, and it will be a string. Here you can copy this following code. And return this. We'll import this from the package. The app ID will come from our env, so process.env.zego app ID, and we'll say, and the secret will be app secret. Now we are getting an error because this has to be a string. So let's validate that. So if type of Zego ID is not equals to string, then we'll throw an error, new error, Zego app ID missing. Oh, sorry, I misread. So it has to be a number, right? So number. Okay, we handled that. Now the next part. Copy this. Cool. Now next, here you have to pass your user name and user ID. Now, since we are not handling the authentication part, for now, let's use the UUID as our user ID. UUID, we'll import this. From UUID. And for username, for now, let's just say Arif Hussain. Okay, so this looks good. Now in our code base, we can use that function to generate the token. Let's call it token equals generate key token, and we need to pass the room ID that we'll get from params .id. Next, we can create a ZegoCloud instance. GP equals to Zego UI kit prebuild dot create as the token. Let's create a function called join meeting. It will have a reference element, and inside there we can call gp dot join room. In the object, we can pass the container, and the variable and the value will be element, and we can set the mode. And I believe we can set the mode. Let's check the docs. Okay, so we can set a scenario. And there pass the mode. ZegoCloud prebuild dot, and here you can select your mode. You have video call, live streaming, one-wall call. We'll just select the video conference, and we'll call this function as a reference. And let's give this its type, which will be HTML div element. Now let's make it a client component to use all the ZegoCloud functionalities. Use client, save, go to browser, let's hit refresh. Zego app ID missing. Did we misspell the environment variables? Alright, so it looks like it's working. So the issue we had is, since this is a client component, so client components cannot access server environment variables, right? So we had to make this next public, so client components or client side also can access the environment variables. In a real world scenario, I will not suggest making your secret public. So you should just turn this into an API, so client can call the API and then get the token from the server. But for the purpose of this tutorial, it is fine. So now if you go to website and click on create new meeting, it will open up a video call. You can see the name that we passed in option. So you can just join and it will open up a call. And here you have options to mute, turn off videos, if you want to share your screen. So pretty cool stuff. And we don't have anyone in the meeting, so we don't have anyone in the meeting because it's only me. So to make the now we don't have anyone in the meeting because it's only me. So to make it shareable, we can add shared links option. So let's click on this. So let's copy this. We'll go here. Let's pass this in the option. We'll just change the name to Arif meeting. And next, we don't need this part, so we'll just remove this. Save. Now if you go to the website, you have option to share the link, so you can just copy this. Let's join first and open up a new window. Paste, join. Allow to, I'll mute this so it doesn't have echo. Join. And you can see both of us. So yeah, now you have like all the functionalities you would expect in a typical video conferencing app. Now we just need to add this part where if someone pastes the room ID and can directly join from here. So let's have a state const meeting ID set meeting ID use state, and since we're using the use state, we have to make it a client component. So use client, and we will set this variable to meeting ID, and on change we will set meeting ID to event dot target dot value. And we can also make this a string, which by default will be empty. And yeah, so when user press this button on click, we'll fire a function called join meeting const join meeting, and this will push users to a meeting link. So we'll just say router dot push to room / meeting ID, and the router will get from use router, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's save this. Oh, this comes from NextJS navigation. Refresh. Okay, working good. So let's say one user creates a meeting and he has this meeting ID that he can copy. Obviously in a real world scenario, you'll probably save all this in a database, so all this happens dynamically, but for this video it's fine. Let's incognito mode. Let's go to the localhost. So let's paste the code. Join meeting. I don't know why it refreshed, but because it's a form and it's taking it as a submit event, Since we are not actually using any functionality, we just can make it a div, save, refresh again. Paste the ID, join meeting, and it takes us to the room. And now both of the users can join the same meeting from the app. And that's how you can use ZegoCloud to implement all these communication features easily in your app. Make sure to check out ZegoCloud. You can get your first 10,000 minutes for free. And yeah, that's all for this video. Hope you guys liked it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.